The repairman just slipped and stepped on a hammer, but the hammer fell down right after, and it ended up breaking the billboard. Because of that, a passerby was killed on the spot. But an even stranger coincidence happened right after. An old man was dragging a manhole cover down the road, and happened to hit a brick stuck under a tire. Because of that, the fuel truck lost its resistance, and in the blink of an eye crashed into a diplomat's luxury car. The fuel truck exploded on the spot. A large amount of gasoline gushed out, and right at that moment the old man dropped a cigarette butt. The fire instantly covered the whole street, but this seemingly coincidental event was actually done on purpose by the devil, and that devil was the boy who never got sick. He had been surrounded by weirdness since the day he was born. That day a meteor happened to crash on Earth, and according to an ancient prophecy, that meteor represented the devil's arrival in the human world. It also meant the devil would be born that very day, and humanity would face a massive catastrophe. That same day Jeff's wife went into labor, but their baby unfortunately didn't survive. At that time a priest took him to the next delivery room. He said there was another baby just born, but his mother died during childbirth, so the baby became an orphan. Hearing that, Jeff said he wanted to adopt him. Then he hid the truth from his wife, completely covering up the fact that their baby had died, and that orphan was the devil Dick. Years later, after Jeff and his wife's careful care, Dick finally grew up, and that's how the fire incident at the beginning happened. That fire happened to kill Jeff's boss, so Jeff got promoted because of it. You could say Jeff's life had been smooth sailing these years, but on the day Dick turned 6, their peaceful life was shattered. That day everyone was celebrating Dick's birthday, when a wolf dog suddenly showed up. Dick's nanny glanced at the dog, then strangely climbed up to the roof. She tied a thick rope around her neck, and jumped right in front of everyone. Everyone on site was too scared to move. Only one reporter instinctively took a photo. Jeff immediately held Dick to comfort him, but Dick wasn't scared at all. He even silently waved at the wolf dog. The next day reporters surrounded Jeff at work. Everyone was curious about the suicide. Every media outlet wanted to be the first to report it. Then a priest came to Jeff on his own. He said he knew Dick wasn't Jeff's biological son, and that the boy wasn't human. He was a devil sent to bring disaster to Earth. The priest also revealed a shocking secret. He said Dick's real mother wasn't human either, but a big black wolf dog. Hearing that, Jeff refused to believe a word of it, because he never told anyone he adopted a child. So he stayed calm and sent the priest away. But that same reporter had taken a photo of the priest. When he went back to develop the photos, he found a beam of light above the priest's head. Startled, he checked other photos, and found everyone had strange light on them. Meanwhile, Jeff couldn't calm down at all, because he kept hearing the priest's voice in his head. But right now his family urgently needed a nanny, and that's when a woman came to apply on her own. Jeff and his wife gladly accepted her. Soon Jeff took Dick to attend church service, but just as they were about to arrive, Dick suddenly went crazy at his mom. Jeff panicked, and told the driver to go back home. Only then did Dick finally calm down. Seeing her son acting so weird and never getting sick, Jeff's wife felt uneasy, but Jeff was afraid his secret might get exposed, so he quickly told her not to worry. That night Jeff went to check on his son in bed, and suddenly saw a wolf dog behind him, staring at him with fierce eyes. Jeff froze in fear. The big wolf dog grew aggressive. Luckily the nanny rushed in and stopped it. She said Dick saw the dog outside, and thought it was cute, so he brought it home. The next day the priest came to visit Jeff again. He said they should meet at the bridge near the church. Then he left first, but the reporter snapped another photo of him. Soon Jeff arrived at the bridge. The priest told him directly that Jeff's wife was pregnant again, but the devil wouldn't let anyone interfere with his plan. He would first kill the unborn baby, then harm the wife, and finally take Jeff's life as well. So Jeff had to stop it. The only way was to find Father Henry, but Jeff still chose to trust Dick. He told the priest to stay away from their lives, and not to bother Dick again. As Jeff turned to leave, a sudden storm hit out of nowhere. The priest knew the devil was coming for him, so he rushed back to the church. But when he got there, the gate was locked tight. At that moment a lightning rod was struck down. Meanwhile, the reporter was developing his photos, and as he expected, the priest's body glowed with light. Later that night Jeff got home from work, and learned he was going to be a dad again, but that news caught him completely off guard. Just as he was trying to calm down, he saw the news that the priest had died. Still he refused to believe it. One day later, Dick was riding his tricycle, while his mom was watering plants upstairs. She was rushed to the hospital, but the baby couldn't be saved. Even then Jeff still trusted Dick, but soon the reporter asked to meet Jeff. He told him the secret of the strange light in the photos. For example, the light appeared around the nanny's neck at the party. Then she hanged herself, and the priest's photos also had that light. And he died in the same direction the light shone. So the light meant death was coming. Hearing this, Jeff and the reporter decided to uncover the truth. They sneaked into the priest's room, and found Bible pages hanging all over. They guessed it was a way to ward off evil. Then they found the priest's notebook. It listed Dick's birthday, the meteor records, and even daily notes about Jeff's family. Then the reporter noticed white light appearing in his own photo. They realized to uncover everything, they had to find the priest who made Jeff adopt Dick. So they went to the old hospital, but all the staff had been replaced. They learned that after Dick's birth, the hospital caught fire, killing many people. Then they found an old nun who remembered the priest. She gave them his address. They hurried to find him. After a long trip they found the priest on an island. But when Jeff saw him he was shocked. The fire had burned his face beyond recognition. He couldn't even speak. After Jeff begged again and again, the priest wrote down the location of Dick's mother's grave. Seeing what the priest had become, Jeff didn't blame him anymore for what happened. Meanwhile, the nanny and Dick went to visit Jeff's wife, but unexpectedly, the nanny secretly poisoned her drink. Jeff's wife stopped breathing. At the same time Jeff and the reporter arrived at the graveyard. When he opened the tomb, he found a dog's skeleton inside. Then he opened the next grave, and found a child buried there. He instantly realized that was his real son. The priest had lied to him all along, leaving him no choice but to adopt Dick. Soon Jeff learned about his wife's death, and he rushed home with the reporter. Finally Jeff found the legendary Father Henry. He pulled out a set of knives blessed with holy water, and said they must be used near a cross, to kill the devil.
And radiate outwards. Small boy who I've raised as my own son. He's not your son, he's a beast.
Jeff couldn't do it. Father Henry told him the truth. Dick had a mark shaped like a 6 on his head. That was the sign of the devil's son. But Jeff still couldn't decide and walked away. The reporter took the knives and chased after him. No matter how he tried to persuade Jeff, Jeff wouldn't listen.
You're asking me to stab a child. A little boy. And that is something I would never take away from any man, certainly not my own son. If you won't, I will.
Just as the reporter ran to grab the knives, a worker on the roof accidentally hit his hammer, recreating the scene from the beginning. Sure enough, the light sign appeared again. Jeff watched as the reporter fell dead, and finally made up his mind. He took the knives home, and searched Dick's head for the devil's mark. He really found it under the boy's hair. The son he had raised was the devil's child. Right then, the nanny attacked Jeff. Jeff grabbed Dick and ran. It turned out, the nanny was sent by the devil to protect Dick. No matter how they tried to escape, she blocked every way. They sped away in a car, but Jeff was going too fast, and the police started chasing him. Jeff dragged Dick into a church, pinned him down on the cross, and just as he was about to strike, the police aimed their guns at him. Jeff was shot dead on the spot. Humanity failed to defeat the devil. But at the end of the movie, the nation's leader attended Jeff's funeral, and the devil's son stood safely beside him. That final scene was deeply unsettling.